And Pat, how can people get information in the city of Elizabeth about Earth Day and what we do?
I have, throughout the city, I have these brochures that you can see throughout the public buildings. You can get them at the city clerk's office, City Hall, Public Information Office. We have them at the county building. The Elizabeth Public Library also has it. And anyone can call my office at 820-4734, and I'll be glad to help them out over the phone with any information if they want to participate.
And Pat, 17 groups, is that the most we've ever had on Earth Day so far?
No, we were at 22. So, but we're still counting.
We're still counting.
We still got time.
We still got time.
Yeah, we get bigger. We get bigger every year.
And the Elizabeth we have an Elizabeth Clean Communities Council as well. Do they work with Sandy, and how does that go together?
The Elizabeth Clean Communities Council. These people are they're pretty much the backbone of the event. We meet all year round. They get together. They recruit organizations. They look for areas that need to be cleaned. They help get businesses to contribute to the event. Without them, this event wouldn't be as big as it is. If I could just name them real quick, we have Joanne Gemedin from the county, Joe Manto from Elizabeth Public Library, Janice D'Avilla from Historic Midtown District, Dave Strojak from Elizabeth Ave Partnership, Paolo Moreno from Public Information Office at City Hall, Pete Roselli from Regional Industries, and then of course Sandy and myself work along with that.
And Sandy, what other initiatives do the New Jersey Clean Communities organizer deal with?
Well, our big project, of course, is our conference, but I'm going to let a little secret out. We're going to be kicking off a statewide public information campaign at our conference on Kids Day. Very exciting, and I'm not going to tell you exactly what the slogan is yet, but it's going to be very exciting, and we're happy to be able to do that. And our little slogan's kind of a metaphor for putting trash in the right place. Good. So you'll have to stay tuned.
I will. And Pat, before we break, anything new in recycling this year?
Yes. Aside from Earth Day, this year we have we have 2 new recyclables that are going to be that are in place already for this year. One of them that I'm very proud of is the compact fluorescent lights. Because of the massive influx of compact fluorescent lights into in this nation. A lot of people, when they use these bulbs, they don't have enough, after the lifespan, they don't have a place to recycle them. So the city of Elizabeth has put in place a program to recycle compact fluorescent lights. And I just want to add that we're the first city in Union County out of 21 cities that have this program in place for compact fluorescent lights.
Now, how do we get them? Do we pick them up at the curb, or do people drop them off?
They can bring them to our recycling depot. It's located at 523 Trenton Avenue. And all they need to do is bring the bulbs to us. We'll wrap them, provided that they're not broken. We can't take them if they're broken. And we'll wrap them and recycle them for them. All they need to do is bring them to the recycling center.
But if they're broken, they have to be thrown in the trash?
Yes. You can't. There's nothing you can do.
Nothing you can do about recycling. Sandy and Pat, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the show, and look forward to seeing you on April 23rd and 8th. Sandy, you coming up for that day?
Absolutely. I wouldn't miss it.
Oh, good for you.
I would not miss it.
Good for you. For Sandy Humer and Pat Vella, please stay with us after these messages, where I'll be back with Dr. Terry Zeeland of the AIDS Foundation and the Executive Director of the St. Clair's Home for Children in our city. Welcome back to the second half of Our City. I'm pleased to be joined by Dr. Terry Zeeland, who's the Executive Director of the AIDS Resource Foundation for Children and St. Clair's Home for Children here in our city. Dr. Zeeland, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mayor.
Now, Dr. Zeeland, what inspired you to start the AIDS Resource Foundation, especially for children? That's important.
Back in 1985, a dear friend of ours contracted AIDS, and my wife Faye and I visited Children's Hospital in Newark, and we met our first baby who had AIDS. She was 2 years old, and her mother had died from AIDS, and she had no place to go. And Dr. Jim Oleski, one of the pioneers in pediatric AIDS, was giving us the tour, and he said there's going to be a lot of babies in her condition in the years to come. So it was then and there that we decided to open a home for babies with AIDS, and that's when it all started.
And since the 80s, it's well about 25 years now then, right?
Yep, well 22 years in May, yep.
And the mission of the foundation?
Is to provide services to children and families that are dealing with the reality of AIDS in their lives.
And it reaches across all ethnic and demographic lines?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, you've been a pioneer not only in AIDS research, but with young people. It's changed drastically over the last 25 years, and education has played a major role in that. How have you seen the change in AIDS research over the years?
Well, the biggest thing, the biggest advance in AIDS research has been with the medicines. The protease inhibitors have been proven fairly effective in treating HIV. Although we still have yet to get a cure, these wonderful drugs are helping people live longer and a better quality of life, which is a wonderful thing. We're also seeing fewer babies being born with HIV. If we can get moms into prenatal care, those moms that are HIV positive, with the proper treatment, we can reduce the numbers of infection to the babies, and that's been terrific.
Can you actually prevent the transferring of AIDS from a mother to a child, an unborn child,
well,
if it's caught in time, or if it's properly administered?
Not 100%, but quite frankly, if you do lower the viral load in the pregnant mother, and the baby is born through cesarean section, you can really reduce almost down to zero the infection, the transmission rate to the baby. But of course, we always don't have that luxury of identifying a pregnant woman who has HIV. Often they may come to the ER and deliver, and unfortunately the baby could be positive.
Because there's no time to really check at
Right.
that point.
No, then it's too late, yeah.
Yeah. And the demographics that mostly is affected by AIDS.
Okay, one of the things in New Jersey that's of great concern for us is that women are the highest, of those with AIDS in New Jersey, women represent 27% of that population, which is the highest percentage of women in the country. And the reason being that a lot of the infections in HIV happen because of women having sex with IV drug users who have contracted AIDS through IV drug use. And as a result, you get a lot of children being born with HIV and a lot of children orphaned to HIV. New Jersey, there's a high number of children orphaned to AIDS, and these kids really fall through the cracks. In New Jersey, there are approximately 18,000 children orphaned or affected by AIDS, and in this region, in northern New Jersey, it's 18,000 children. And then after mom dies, the kids tend to drop out of school, become pregnant, end up in the criminal justice system.
Dr. Zeland, what is the life expectancy for a child born with AIDS if they had the proper medical care?
We would like to, well, right now, we know of children who are now 21, 22 years of age, sort of the history, the length of the epidemic, that are still alive in treatment. We do see some of them getting sicker as they get older because the protease inhibitors are pretty strong drugs, and there is some resistance to the medication over time. But we're having some pretty good success, and it's great to see. Actually, we have kids that we are caring for in our after-school program who are teenagers who are St. Clair's babies, so it's nice to see that when it happens.
That is really great.
Oh, it's terrific.
That makes the mission all the more worth it.
Absolutely.
Is there any truth to the ability of the AIDS virus to go away? I mean, you hear these stories, or every so often they'll show up in the newspaper that says they did a blood count and the AIDS virus is non-existent. Is that real, or is that just...
It doesn't go away. What they talk about is that the virus is undetectable, which means they know the person still has the virus, but they can't detect it through the laboratory. But it's still there. So we have to be really careful. And it's great when it's undetectable. It means the viral load is really low, but it just never leaves, so far, it doesn't leave the body.
And how many babies have you cared for in St. Clair's home over the last 22 years?
We've cared for over 1,052 babies in our St. Clair's homes. And I'd like to publicly thank you for your continued support, not just for the Run for the Children, but for stopping by and just being part of the family of St. Clair's homes and helping us survive here.
I appreciate that.
Well,
you have a very great mission, especially when it comes to dealing with kids.
Well, and it's great to have the mayor of the city backing us, because really it's your help that's very important.
Thank you.